Nick, him, from Arizona. He's a theist, and he's calling with a sentence that I really want to hear elaborated on. He says, "We live in a cult image fiefdom." So, Nick, please elaborate a little bit on that if you're there. Can you hear us?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we
We can.
can. Wonderful.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's
Yeah,
going well.
so we actually live in some version of Jim Crow currently, where people set up grand ornate displays of themselves and take in an unreasonable income while producing an economically void product. Like it's a product that doesn't do anything. And we give them special social status in class in our society and treat them as lords. And they're called celebrities.
So
Okay.
could you so elaborate on that a little? How's that? Because here we typically talk about like theism and related concepts. How do you want to draw that through line?
A cult image is prohibited in the Torah. It's
Okay,
image worshiping. It's idolatry.
okay. Paul, do you want to?
I'm wondering, Nick, why first of all, why the laugh? Where are you is this a real call?
Because it's kind of hilarious when you realize it. Like me, you, and Erica are all serfs to pornographers. You know, people that have sex on camera for a living. They take in an unreasonable income. They make lots of money. They have a mansion. They might have a yacht. They can take all the vacation time that they want. And they're given a special social class in our society, and that's terrible. That's
Okay.
irrational.
Do you think that either of us are advocating for that?
By doing nothing about it, you are complicit by inaction.
So how would you suggest that one not be complicit? Like, what are you doing?
I write about it. I post on social media. I talk to people about it. I
Do you
advocate against it.
I, I mean, I'm going to be honest.
Go ahead,
I'm
Edgar.
not really sure. I'm not really sure where to go with this. Like, I would, I mean, I don't like that there's a massive class disparity in the United States. That's an opinion that I personally hold. But I don't think we would disagree on at least that point, Nick. But I'm not really sure where to take it outside of that. Paul, do you have any? Do you have any ideas?
Uh, no, and I mean, if you want a strong defense of capitalism as it sits right now in the Western world, I don't think Eric or I are going to make that defense. I also in my life,
Here's the thing: is that celebrities are de facto religion in the United States. Image worshiping, when somebody exalts themselves through a cult image, by exalting themselves and self-aggrandizing themselves over their neighbor and over the rest of us, over the working class, they make us all their de facto slaves.
So you're sort of
Go ahead, Erica.
That's a religion. Worshipping people is a religion. It's actually prohibited in the Torah. So I would say that's a proof by demonstration of the Torah.
Wait, you're trying to. This is maybe in the realm of what we actually hear. So you're trying to say that because people worship in your phrase,
images,
because
pictures,
they worship images and celebrities, that proves that the Torah is correct? Is that therefore the ... that I'm supposed to get?
Yeah. Proof by demonstration. I love atheists because you all are actually cult image worshippers. You guys are worshiping a cult image in the form of Hollywood, and you're ignoring the religion that's actually occurring in the room, which is a
Okay,
cult
so
image. It's idolatry.
yeah, so this is at least hitting on something that I think we could talk a little bit more about, right? Like Paul, who which celebrity are you worshiping right now? Who's topping your list?
Yeah, that's actually a weird answer because I'm
It,
currently working. I'm working on a movie right now. So this weirdly, like I'm in this realm. I've worked in Hollywood. I've literally done all this stuff. So I'm not saying that. So, but I just feel like maybe Nick, when you put yourself out on social media, are you not putting yourself out there as someone in the same sense to worship in this same sense, even if not to the same scale?
sorry. What do you mean?
Well, you said that you write about this and that you post
Yeah.
your opinions about this on social media. So are you then,
Yeah.
Nick, not putting yourself forward for other people to worship in this same sense and in the same way?
So I don't have a $300 million bank account,
No, no, no.
or even
But
a
you
million
were talking
dollars.
about.
Um,
So
Yeah,
so
wait, Nick. You didn't say that money was part of the what had to was the criteria
yeah,
for this
I
worship.
did. I did. I implied it by saying that we're giving them special social
Okay,
status in class.
so let me say that I worship a broke person, but I absolutely in every other way am treating that person like a divine entity
Are we
walking
giving
this
that
earth.
person a
But they're
special
but they're
social class?
broke.
Are we treating that person like a lord and giving them $100 million mansion and a yacht and a private
Okay,
airplane,
so hold
and
on.
giving them special social status in our community?
So you have a very specific requirements here. So this is what I was trying to drive to. You have to have multiple intersections of things that you think are negative traits for this to be relevant.
I'm just describing the class situation, the segregation of society.
well, kind
Kind
of.
of
You're
like
kind of
how
about it,
a
but
white slave
Nick,
owner treated a black
yeah,
person
Nick,
back
I,
in
I get
the
I get what you're. So
17,
hold on, I get what
1800s.
you're. All right, I'm gonna have to get liberal with the mute button. You gotta let this be a little bit of a back and forth, my friend. I get where you're going with there. Like I can appreciate the sentiment of wanting to reduce the class disparity in the United States, but you're kind of bouncing back and forth. Like you're kind of like retreating to that concept whenever Paul pushes even a little bit on this concept of like idolatry and
That's because that's
Hollywood. Like let's really hit the nail on the head here, right? What specifically characteristics would lead you to assign someone as like being a cultural image to the extent of idolatry or idol worship? What
I've
specifically?
already described that. It's a different class of people. It's like a slave master owning a black man back in the 17 or 1800s. Today, we have
So I
celebrities
don't
and they
think it's
own
like that
the
at
working
all.
class. Like
Yeah, there's a vast difference between criminal levels of classism that we experience in the United States today and literally owning another person as property. Those I would at least assert are absolutely different things. But Paul, yeah, I know you had a direction you wanted to go with this.
No, I've actually now become bored because I kind of was for a minute there thinking that you might be trying to actually tie this to whatever your version of theism is, but it's now clear that you're not. You have a lot of complaints, some of which I share, some of which I feel are flaws on a spectrum, and different people fall on the flaws there. But if unless you can drive this to dot 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 therefore God, I feel like maybe this isn't the show for this conversation. I don't know, Erica. You
that
can.
it's the second commandment: thou shalt not make into be any graven image or any image of anything in heaven above, the earth beneath, or the waters underneath the earth.
Yeah, no, I understand that is something that the Abrahamic God has commanded. Don't worship things. But the fact that people do something that the Bible commands against, no one can make a command against the thing that isn't happening, right? Like you don't make jaywalking laws if no one's wandering around where they shouldn't be. You don't say don't eat these Tide Pods if no one's eating the Tide Pods. You only
And to
make
that
these rules. Go ahead.
to that end, like, I struggle to think of a single religion out there that doesn't have a very basic rudimentary version of "thou shalt not kill," right? Does that mean that all the religions are right because they've all converged on this single law that we typically agree on, right? Like, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, but I think you kind of wanted to come on here to give your opinions on this, but you don't actually have to give your opinions on this subject, but you don't really have a way to draw it to the what the purpose of the show is, right? Is to like make an argument more or less to theism or some level of pseudoscience. Like I get I understand your passion for the subject, but this isn't really, as Paul said, the show for that.
Yeah, idolatry is prohibited throughout the Bible, and cult
Killing
images are
killing
the
is
religion of the Canaanites.
Right, but there's
killing is
lots of things
So
that
prohibited
are.
in Hinduism and Buddhism.
I feel like I'm in Canaan. Huh?
You feel like you're what?
In Canaan. Canaan.
You you feel like you're in Canaan is fine. But as we said, the Bible prohibits lots of things. The Bible prohibits mixed fabric. That doesn't mean we actually want to have calls about mixed fabric. That's just not like and the merits of mixed fabric. Like that's just not really the point of the show to discuss things that the Bible prohibits. The point of the show is to see whether the Bible is true, not whether it prohibits
Yeah,
things that are good or bad.
and you're inherently a serf to the icons in Hollywood.
All right, brother.
The
I feel like we're on a repeat track at this point. I feel like we've been trying, you've had multiple shots to take this someplace new and interesting, and we've tried to delve into it. But I
Oh
genuinely think,
well,
Nick, that
where else? What other religious text does that prohibits
don't have
idolatry and
idols,
cult images?
like
all of
every
them.
single Abrahamic religion, for one. I mean, does how do you distinguish between Judaism and Islam or Christianity? Why yours? They prohibit this too.
Hinduism eschews
Um,
all forms of materialism. Like
Buddhism to some degree
I
as well, depending on the denomination or sect or whatever.
yeah, but what about idolatry and cult images?
No, my friend, my my
Is
friend,
there a Native
you
American
do
just
religion that
you,
does that?
are your goalposts on
no.
wheels?
Um, are you discounting my argument for no reason?
You're not actually making an argument. What you are asserting is that certain behaviors are either bad or you don't like them, and that's fine. But I'm just
I'm so
saying
sorry.
that's not the topic of this show.
No, it's
You just asserted that. Hold on.
I
All right.
derived this theory
I'm gonna have
from
to
the
do this.
Bible.
I'm gonna have to do it to do this, but I muted him. Nick, we've gone over multiple times. This is going to be the third time that we've talked about how there are multiple other religions, if not all of them, as Paul said, that prohibit idolatry to some degree or another. And your response to that was, what about the fact that Judaism prohibits idolatry? Are you serious? Like we're chasing our tail here. So I'm going to unmute you here. I don't like muting people. I hate it. But I'm getting a little frustrated. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unmute you. You got one more shot here. Let's hear an argument for what distinguishes Judaism from other religions in this lawmaking to the degree that it's convinced you that it is true above the others. I'm going to unmute you now, and then you can go nuts. You are unmuted now. Take it away.
I'm the Son of Man.
All right, we're dropping the call. Cool. I If that guy had my address, I would fear for my life. That was not at all coherent. Could you pull anything out of that?
No, what I just kept making me feel uncomfortable was he actually has a really good point with me. Like Star Wars paid for my house, so
Holy shit, I
in not
actually didn't know
only
that.
so I used to work for George Lucas. I think that's the thing that lots of people know. And so yeah, so weirdly in this way, yeah, I'm absolutely a slave to celebrity, and that was a whole part of my life before. But yes, no, I got nothing out of it. I feel like he wanted to rail against some certain things, and only I think he came up with this justification on the fly after we were pushing him on it. So there's lots
Yeah,
of
I think
shows where you can call in and say capitalism is bad, and
well, there's
neither of us are necessarily going to disagree.
no, like there's Discord servers. There's so many different call-in
Yeah.
shows that you could go and make that exact case on it. Like I feel like he wanted a soapbox, and so he came on here to
Mm.
use this as a soapbox. I in a mean way, he might have like I don't know, he might have had something to drink because that there was also no coherence to the flow of his argument, right? Like it was just circle after circle after circle. Yeah, so I don't like dropping calls. I don't like muting people, but it is what it is. Fortunately, we
But
have
we owe it
Eric
to the
back.
other callers. That's right.